It is day 152, and I'm walking up an old Jeep road here and hopefully going to intersect the AT in about half a mile or so. So I'm staying in a friend's house near Carabasset, Maine, which is Sugarloaf ski area. So I got a shuttle this morning back to Rangeley and then transferred to another shuttle guy who had a heavy-duty four-wheel drive, who brought me about 45 minutes up into the mountains here to the point where he couldn't go any further. And now I'm just walking a half mile, probably more, back to the trail. Then I'll hike over the Saddlebacks like 16 or 17 miles southbound, where Mrs. Mulligan will leave our car, and then she's going to drop it there, and she's off to visit friends in New York with her sister. So I'll grab the car, take that back to Sugarloaf, hopefully late this afternoon when I'm done this evening. And then the same shuttle person, same shuttle guys, will bring me back up here tomorrow, and I'll hike northbound and end up at Sugarloaf. So you can follow all that. It's basically complicated slack packing. All about conserving my knees and body at this point. So it's complicated, but a lot easier than carrying my full backpack. So I'm taking advantage of every opportunity I can get at this point. And it's a spectacular day in weather. So if I can find the AT up here in another half mile or so, it'll all be good, and I'll start heading southbound. So I made it back to the AT, the first and most important aspect to the day, and now I'm headed southbound. 3 big mountains today in that 16 and a half miles. First one is Saddleback Junior, which is just under 4,000 feet. Then the Horn, which is over 4,000 feet. And then finally Saddleback itself, which is also over 4,000 feet. And I think for at least some of that, 2 or 3 miles, it's all above tree line. And as luck would have it, I've got another beautiful day for that. So it should be some really awesome views when I get up there if the weather holds. There's the AT over there. There's my bridge. Probably a bad idea to try and film this. Came from back that way about 4 or 5 miles. Sort of down in the low area back there. And I think that right there, straight ahead, is Saddleback Junior. Then maybe the Horn to the right. That looks taller. And then way in the distance there, between the two, down in the V, I think, is Saddleback Regular. Or just Saddleback Mountain, I guess. I guess we'll see. And about 1.5 to Saddleback Junior, which feels right to get up there. Looks like the trail goes that way. think I'm almost to the top of Junior. I hope. Thinking that is Sugarloaf there, the bald one. Came from down there, up that. As I've said before, when it starts to get really steep, usually means you're getting close to the top. And then when you start to see daylight, that's always a good sign too. Just came over the top of Saddleback Junior. Look at this view. 360, perfectly clear. There's the Horn, and there's Saddleback Mountain, and you can almost make out, I think, sort of the path going along the ridge there at the top of Saddleback. What a day. Sort of like Mount Washington, and the trail notes for the next sort of 5 miles. There's warnings in there about don't attempt if the weather is bad because it's all exposed. I think starting in another couple of miles. So to get weather like this is special and not very common, I don't think. Almost to the top of the Horn. I wonder how many days out of the year you come up here and there's almost no wind and clear blue skies like this. Here's a good view back at Junior. I think way in the distance there, that's the top of Sugar Bush. You can just see some towers on top. Another 1/10 or so. Here's a great view back towards the Horn. Not right there, that's still Saddleback, but just beyond it there is the Horn. And then that one there is Saddleback Junior. So it kind of went down, up, then sort of this false summit right back here of Saddleback. And then Saddleback Summit. And then an awesome, amazing view down to Rangeley Lake. Sort of right there, you can see the little town of Rangeley next to it, and then a little further in the distance, my friend Moose Look, that Moose Lake, whatever it's called, Moose Look-a-night, something like that. So you can kind of see I came from way back in the distance there. I know the view has got to be today 50 plus miles. Definitely one of the top days on the trail for me in the last 5 months, that's for sure. Camera never does it justice, but trust me, it is amazing. Somewhere way in the distance there is Katahdin. Still somewhere around 200 miles. That's a view back towards the top of Saddleback where I just was, and you can just see the guy that took my picture at the summit sign. So that way is north. That way is Georgia, where I've been hiking from the last few days. It feels like you can see Georgia. It's so clear. So I got about, I don't know, 5 more miles southbound to the Route 4 road crossing, but Man, I could stay up here all day. Past maybe 15 northbound through hikers, and that's it. Finally headed down. There, I think maybe just see a bit of the road in the distance there. Here you can see the color in the trees. I can hear the road, so I must be getting pretty close to wrapping up day 152. What an awesome day. Really, definitely one of my best days on the trail. And tomorrow I'll get dropped off back where I started today and go back to heading north towards Katahdin. So I will see you tomorrow. Let's see, it's I think September 19th, day 153, and I've just headed up that same Jeep trail, you can see it behind me, from yesterday up to intersect the AT, and I'll head northbound about 17 miles. Let's see, I think it's Lone Mountain, Spalding Mountain, then Sugarloaf Mountain. I think maybe I said Sugar Bush yesterday a couple of times, but Sugarloaf Mountain and ski area, that one's over 4,000. Then North and South Crocker, which are both also over 4,000. So lots of climbing and descending today. And then after about 17 miles, that'll take me back to the road crossing for Stratton and Carrabassett. Carrabassett's where Sugarloaf ski area is. So you can see another gorgeous day for weather. It was 29 in the car this morning, so it was cold. And I've probably got too many clothes on right now. I have to shed a few here pretty quick. So 2 mountains down, one over Lone Mountain and Spalding Mountain, and that is Sugarloaf, top of the ski area right there. That's up next, followed by the Crockers, north and south. So I just came over the top of North Crocker. I think it said 4168 as far as elevation. And that was my 5th big mountain of the day. See, I started with Lone Mountain, then Spalding Mountain. No views on either of those. Then up Sugarloaf, and I never actually touched the summit there. There was a side trail which I didn't take to where the ski lifts were. So no view there, though that was above 4,000 feet. Then really steep downhill. So from over 4,000 feet, I think I went down to maybe less than 2,000. So went way down and down to, I don't remember the river, and then straight back up South Crocker, which was over 4,000 feet, which again, there was no view. And then down, not quite as much, down a little bit, and then back up North Crocker, which was also over 4,000 feet with no view. So 5 big mountains, no views today. Got spoiled yesterday, but certainly lots of climbing and descending, that's for sure. Man, I wish I knew the total for today, because cumulatively it would be a lot. And now I've just got like, I don't know, like 4.5 miles downhill to finish the day. So hopefully it's a fairly gentle 4.5 miles downhill. Downhill sounds good in practice, but if it's too steep, it can be really slow and really tedious. So hopefully it's fairly gentle 4.5 miles to wrap up the day. I'm still on my way down to wrap up the day here, but I just passed maybe a mile or two back the 2,000 mile mark. 2,000 miles walked. It's just unfathomable, unbelievable. You just can't imagine it. It's unimaginable. Doesn't compute. I don't know what else to say. It's just hard to wrap my brain around it, but I've walked every one of those 2,000 miles. I know that. Right about now, it's actually probably 2002. So 190 or so to go.